my god, remove the cursor, bro. You never remember to remove the cursor. It's Pokemon Crystal. Welcome back to the Adventures of Mopiri.
I'm opening up to the God fan base of a community, if you will.
Are you?
Yeah. So
cool. Well, what I was gonna
that's inclusiveness.
Well, what I was gonna say in the last episode before the episode ended was was that, so like right now, which is related to friends being in band thing.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying really hard, not that much anymore, but I was at the beginning of summer. Not now, just because one of them is busy, but I was trying really hard to get a saxophone quartet going between me, Connor, and two other of our saxophone player friends. Like I I arranged a bunch of songs, and I found a bunch of songs on like the website.
I can't take 2 steps.
And like
it's like Mother.
And Mother. The freaking you take three steps, and it seems almost calculated. It's like every 3 steps in Earthbound Beginnings, there's always like an enemy, and that enemy can like one-shot you or one-hit you.
Like, I like the game. There's just or what I've played of it so far, but like, dang, you're just gonna die sometimes just from how many enemies there are.
I'm gonna hold on to that thought because I actually want to talk about that.
Okay.
But so I was trying to get the saxophone quartet started, and so I have a bunch of material that I found on the internet and made that I want to play. Like we have, just from stuff that I've curated, we have like 12 songs. And I was trying really hard to get that going, and like we just can't right now because Connor's freaking so busy with his job. Which he just works at like a grocery store.
SpongeBob clip to do that job.
I mean, yeah. But it's like he does not have a lot of freedom at that job, which or at least is what I've been told, or what he makes it sound like. Cause like, as far as I know, he can't make his hours, which really sucks, because I really want to get this, I really want to get together with, like, friends and, like, play music, since I love playing music, and I love hanging out with friends.
God, I love music.
So why not put the two together, you know? It would also just be, it's also because, like, it's summer now, and I haven't done, like, anything. Like, we went to our grandparents' house and visited them. That's about it. I haven't done anything. And it's funny.
I've just been working the crap out of gaming videos.
I've just been reading manga. That was the main thing that I was doing. And like, I remember friends and stuff for a while have been like, yeah, we're gonna get together around summer, blah blah blah, because it's summertime. Everyone gets to hang out, and like no one has done anything so far because everyone is busy. And I'm like, it's summer. How are you busy?
Yeah, this is like the time to not be busy.
Yeah.
Darn! I was standing guard up top when some old coot yelled at me. He startled me so much that I fell down here. I think I'll vent my anger by taking. So how I progress is by going into this well and killing a bunch of Team Rocket members.
Like, I understand if you have a job and then you just get more hours put onto you because now there's no more school, but I don't know, not to be closed-minded, but I just don't know, like, what other responsibilities would pop up, but I don't know, not my life. That happens.
It's your life, man.
I would just assume that people would stay the same amount of busy. I don't know. Cause I'm just like sad that I can't like hang out with people, especially since this is like optimal time to. I don't know, cause it sounds like so much fun as well.
Let's just plot an evil scheme. Let's get them fire.
Anyways, Mother.
Yeah, Mother.
Cause you saying that thing about Mother made me want to talk about Mother.
Earthbound Beginnings.
I really like Earthbound Beginnings, and the only reason why I do is because I played a hacked version that was easier. And even because like I really like Earthbound, but I think it's kind of dumb in some places. Earthbound Beginnings, I think, is like sometimes I like it more, from a like world.
It's Jesse.
Is it?
It's not really Jesse, but I can imagine this is what Jesse's based off of.
Like
Or maybe it's based off of Jesse because design is probably after the anime.
Oh yeah, because it's Crystal.
Yeah.
Like I sometimes I think I prefer Mother over Mother 2 when it comes to just like the world and its vibe. Like the world of Earthbound Beginnings, from when I played it, it felt like a much sadder world than Earthbound was. And like maybe it's also just because there's a little bit more charm to it since it's on the Famicom instead of the Super Famicom. And it just has like more crude graphics, like way more low quality, and also like
you're teeny tiny on the screen.
Yeah, and a lot of my favorite music from the entire Mother series is in Mother.
Snowman.
Like hearing
Snowman.
hearing Snowman being friends and Pollyanna like for the first time in 8-bit was like it was so weird and it sounded so cool because I only know I know Snowman from Earthbound, but Pollyanna and being friends I only knew from Smash Bros. And I knew that they were from Mother, but I had never heard or looked up the original songs until I played the game. And I didn't realize it was like the overworld music. I'm like, that's so cool.
Oh my gosh. The melee music.
I mean, yeah. And then also, and then also, I really love the story of the game. Like, it's much more like the Earthbound Beginnings has more. By the way, for people that don't know, just so I can stop confusing people, Mother and Earthbound Beginnings is the same game. Earthbound Beginnings is just the name that they use in North America, but every now and then I will call it Mother just out of habit because that's what the Japanese name is called, and it wasn't localized until much later. Whereas Mother 2 and Earthbound is also the same game. Mother 2 is the Japanese name, Mother 2 is the Japanese name, Earthbound is the American name.
Yeah.
I will just flip back and forth between the two. I will always call Earthbound Earthbound unless I'm talking about the series as a whole, in which I will sometimes call it Mother 2. Earthbound Beginnings, I will flip back and forth between the two, just because, and then Mother 3 I will exclusively call Mother 3.
Yeah, I just say Mother 3.
Name.
Yeah, I just say Mother 3, Earthbound, and Mother, Earthbound, and Mother 3.
Yeah, so, like, if I'm talking about the entire franchise, I will literally just call them Mother, Mother 2, and Mother 3.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm talking about individual games, I'll just use whatever name I feel is most appropriate, / whatever name just happens to come out of my mouth. But, so, the story in Earthbound Beginnings, there's a lot more exposition than Earthbound. Like, in Earthbound... Twitter notification, hello. In Earthbound... Alright, from Alfred. I was like, Toby Fox? No,
Alfred's texting you.
No, he's not. It's Twitter. What did he post? He revealed the next team for the Cup Pong Invitational.
Oh, okay.
It's Peach Jars on All Tribe.
Alright.
I don't know who Peach Jars is. But there's a lot more exposition in Mother than there is in Mother 2. Like in Earthbound, it just says, like, here's a setting, here's the time, your nest, and then the game just like starts, and then you learn the story from then, like when you talk to Buzz, and and also there's just like the what is it? You know the beginning, like opening cutscene in quotation marks? Of like the what does it say in Earthbound? What is like Gygus strikes? What does it say?
It's like the return of Gygus.
No, it's not the return of Gygus because they changed it. it's called The Return of Gygus in Mother 2. But in Earthbound, it doesn't say that because this is the first time the West had knew who Gygus was.
The invasion of Gygus? I have no idea.
Probably says like the invasion of Gygus. And then Buzz teaches you about Gygus, what he is, and how you have to go to the past to stop him. Right?
I don't know. You just go to some. Don't you have to? I have no idea. You go somewhere gray.
You have to.
I think you go to the future, or maybe the past. I have no idea.
I don't remember. You fight Gygus basically, and then defeat him. But then in Mother, you get an entire like paragraph or two, at the very beginning of the game that like before you even start the game, like when you open it and when you start the game, it gives you like a bunch of text to read that tells you about the origin of Gygus. It tells you about the origin of Gygus and like what he is, what he does, where he comes from, and then you start and like why he is a threat, and then you go into the game. And the story of Gygus, or Gigu as he's called in that game, is so fascinating. It's such a cool like concept of a character, and it's the final boss when you actually fight him is so good. They created such a compelling story out of 8-bit graphics. and it's like you know how in you know how in Earthbound, the Gygus fight is not conventional. It's not just get his HP to 0. You have to do something extra. No spoilers, of course. I mean, never mind.
I didn't say anything.
In Earthbound Beginnings, you also don't just get his HP to 0. You do something a little bit extra, but the story already is more emotional. Like Mother just has a more emotional story than Earthbound does. And then also, like it's fascinating. I want to know what it's like to be a Japanese. Yeah, a Japanese like
I want to be ninja.
A Japanese citizen who plays, lives in Japan, plays video games in Japan. They play Mother, like it, then play Earthbound years later when it comes out. Because here in the West, it's like Earthbound is your introduction to the world, and then people learn about Mother via Earthbound 0, which was the fan name for the localized cart that people had found.
Yes.
Because Mother was going to be localized, but was then canceled due to just time. But then, like, as a Westerner, you play Earthbound. This is how you're introduced to the world. Then you play, Earthbound Beginnings, and then it's kind of like, it's like a prequel. It's like, oh, this is where the start of, like...
This is how the Nest Boy came about.
This is where the start of, like, the evil forces are. It's like, it's like the Star Wars prequels, kind of.
This is where the bad guy came from.
Yeah, it's like, you learn who Gygus is, you defeat him, then you play the previous game, then you learn about who Gygus is and where he comes from. It's kind of like Star Wars with Darth Vader. It's like you're introduced to Darth Vader as a villain, and you learn kind of who he is. Then when you watch the prequels, don't, by the way. Then when you watch
yeah, they're not good.
Then when you watch the prequels, you learn more about you learn about Anakin Skywalker, that side of Darth Vader. That's interesting. When you flip the two narratives around, where you are introduced to Anakin Skywalker, then you meet Darth Vader, or like you are introduced to Gigu, then you meet Gygus. That's a I feel like that somehow shifts your perception, like, of the character.
Yeah.
So I really want to know. There's like no way to do this, but I would like to somehow experience what it's like pretty much like playing Mother, seeing Gigu, and then hearing of his return in Earthbound as Gygus, and then you play Earthbound, and or rather Mother 2, and then you're like, whoa! How did he get like this? It's the return of Gygus! Oh my god! Like that. Whereas in the West, it's just like, oh cool, now we get to like learn his backstory. This is a very interesting story. It's like it's a completely different relationship between completely different relationship between the media and the media consumer. Then Mother 3, the Gygus saga is completely over. I'm like fascinated with Mother 3 because Mother 3 deals with, it's the same world, but it deals with completely different forces outside of Gygus. Like it continues
it's Earthbound forces.
it continues the story of Pokey after Earthbound. And then it also talks about some of the stuff that happens even way before Gygus's like existence and Earthbound beginnings. And it connects the very beginning of the timeline and like the very end of the timeline.
Ooh, we learned magnitude.
And like the story of Earthbound is just so cool. I just wish that they told you all this story like within the game. Now, again, like I haven't beaten Mother 3. I've only played around a couple hours of it. I don't know how far that is. But as far like right now, where like I know much more about Mother 3 than I should, just because of like cultural awareness. Cause like I haven't even gotten that far, and I just kind of know roughly what happens in the game. But so far where I am, there is nothing that connects Mother 3 to Mother 1 or 2. Absolutely nothing, other than gameplay style. And even then, that's kind of different.
Well, there's the shared villain between Mother 2 and 3.
Yeah, but in Mother 3, I haven't heard Pokey's word yet at all. Well, Porky, because it's a fan translation, so it uses the Japanese name Porky. So I haven't even
Pokemon are getting strong.
So I haven't even like
Alright, never mind.
I haven't met him, because when you meet him, that's when you fight him. But I haven't like heard his name at all. I've just met like the like pig minion thingies that have like the masks. I've seen those. But I already knew what those were by the time that I had played but by the time I had played the game, I already knew what those guys were. And what their deal was. I already know about the chimeras and where they're from. Even though I probably shouldn't. I don't know.
It was gonna be on the Nintendo 64. As Earthbound.
Thank God it wasn't.
Why?
I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know.
I think it. Actually, I'm not sure.
Under the branding and production of Earthbound 64, that just doesn't sound appealing to me. And I feel like the game would have just aged really awfully.
64th try. Oh yeah, because it's on the 64.
I like the Nintendo 64, and I like some of the games on it, and the games on the Nintendo 64 that I do like, I think hold up really well, aka not Mario 64. Even though I still love Mario 64. But like most of the Nintendo 64 games, I kind of look at and I go, ugh, and then I play it, and then I go, ugh! Like, but it's like, I could play Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask like all day, and I could play, like Pokemon Stadium is fine, and then,
Easy Gym.
And then also,
let's go.
whatever the Japanese name for Animal Crossing was.
Animal talking.
No.
Mario Story.
Because it was released on the Nintendo 64, and then was ported to the GameCube, and then that's when the West saw it for the first time. I don't remember what it was called, though. It was called something else. It wasn't called Animal Crossing. It was called... It was called Animal something. I don't remember.
Oh, I got cut. Or did I? I don't know. Let me see. Do we get there?
I don't know how much story that they tell you in Mother 3, but as far as I know, they don't tell you anything. So it's like, there's this really cool story that they just don't explain to you. And in that way, now that I say it, reminds me a lot of Evangelion. The way that they just build up this super fascinating story, like one of the most well-crafted and most, like, engaging worlds that I've ever seen in fiction, period, and then they just don't tell any of it to you. You have to figure it out from other media. That is the one thing that is stopping me from, like, really loving Evangelion. I'm not even kidding. If by the end of the show, if they leaned into both the psyche of the characters aspect and the real world, like, mystery, if they just combined that, would have been a 10 out of 10 show. But I can't give it any more than a 7.5 or an 8, because they just did not do anything with the real world elements. And I get, that's not the point of the show. I understand that's not the point of the show, but could you imagine how cool it would be if they fused those two elements? Like, oh my god, like, I like Evangelion. Missed opportunity, though, in my opinion. Not wasted potential, because, you know, still did what it wanted to, and did it well, just, man. Alright, anyways, back to Nintendo.
I had that emotion recently when we were watching The Owl House.
Oh, yeah.
Because, they're talking about how, like, one of the characters is like, oh no, it turns out that he's a species of being, or whatever. And it's like, wait, what is the species? You've never told us about the species
and, like,
before.
on the wiki, it says not much is known about this, and it's like, alright, cool.
Why not teach me about it, so then I can be interested in your concept of your story? Did I already heal them up the Pokemon? Yes. Okay.
Oh, it was called Animal Forest, I believe. I didn't find it, but it just popped into my head. Because I've been trying to find what the Animal Crossing Nintendo 64 game is called. In Japan, it's called Dobutsu no Mori Plus. For some reason, there's a plus at the end. I don't know if you pronounce the plus like plus. You probably don't. And this isn't about this because this is the Wikipedia page. It's not about it's not about the series. It's about the first game.
I changed his name from Jack Paul to Stinkmon. The
Oh,
rival.
Did you just not remember what it was?
No, I simply did not like Jack Paul, so I changed it to Stinkmon.
Good.
Good for you.
He has a Ghastly cheater. Ugh.
L form activated.
Speaking of the Owl House, kind of, a lot of people have been throwing around this idea of there being a time skip between seasons 2 and 3. What is your opinion on that?
Between 2 and 3?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Wait, which season are we in? Season 2?
Yeah, season 2 just ended. Season 3 is gonna premiere in a while, and that'll be the last season. People have been throwing around the idea of there being, like, a time skip. I've been seeing a lot of people, like, write fan fiction and also draw, like, comics of continuing, like, pretty much making up the start of the 3rd season, but it's not, like,
he keeps trying to put me to sleep.
But it's not, like, right where the second season leaves off.
I'm trying to scratch him.
They add like a year or so, like, of a time skip.
Yeah, the ending of season 2 is not good.
Why?
Because it's not good. It just feels dumb.
Care to explain how?
No, because then I'll have to get into spoiler territory.
That's true! Well, in my opinion, it wasn't bad. It just left a lot to be desired.
Wait, hold on, that did not do a whole lot at all.
I don't even feel like it was lacking, I just feel like it was rushed. I just feel like my main problem with the Owl House is that it just feels rushed.
Yeah.
Oh my god. If the Owl House wasn't cancelled, then it could have been so good! Because then the creators would get time to tell the story and flesh out everything. which they did that somewhat, was like season 1. There's still a lot of crap and like a lot of just crap in season 1, but I like season 1 for the most part. Season 2 though, it really feels like it feels like the episodes that they chose to put into development were the ones that were already like the episodes that they chose to air and like finish were the episodes that were just like the furthest in development. So it's like every now and then you get some random I don't care, and then every now and then you'll get like here's a story. With Steven Universe, Steven Universe does the same thing, except with Steven Universe, I think it's a bit.
Oh my god.
I think it's a bit less acceptable because in Steven Universe it's like story going up that hill, like rising action, story. Here's a bunch of slice of life.
The pizza girl has nightmares.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Where's the antidotes?
I don't know. I feel like if you're doing a story and you want to mix episodic and like story-driven elements of a show, what most shows do nowadays is they start out formulaic. It's like here's an adventure of the week kind of thing. Then it slowly becomes into like an adventure thing. But there are some shows like Steven Universe that just still want to keep that adventure of the week formula. And I feel like at some point you have to ditch it if you're going to go full into the story. At some point you're gonna have to ditch the episodic narrative. However, if you're smart with the way that you place it, then it can be really engaging. But the thing about Steven Universe, and I know nothing about Naruto, but I hear that Naruto does the exact same thing, where it's just like, oh, story getting good, bam, 3 arcs of filler for like 100 chapters. And then by the time that those are done, once you finish that last arc of filler, you've no freaking clue what was even happening beforehand, because it's been 100 chapters. I don't know how true that is, because I know nothing about Naruto, have not read it, have not watched it, frankly don't care enough to, since I'm not interested.
Did I tell you that our nephew consumed everything Naruto?
No. I think I know which nephew.
He said that because we had lunch one time, so we just talked about anime. He was like, I watched like Naruto,
Yeah.
I watched Boruto, I watched everything.
What? Did he finish Boruto?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like I watched the movies. I don't know if there is movies,
Alright.
but
There probably is. There's freaking One Piece movies. And
yeah,
Dragon
but he
Ball movies.
apparently really likes Naruto. And he said, I'm not gonna watch One Piece though. I know I basically ended up watching exactly the length of One Piece, but it's just too long.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I remember you telling me about him saying that. Also, we are 28 minutes. Sheesh!
Stop it right now! Wait, hold on. Because I'm fighting the rival right now.
I
so I'm gonna
saw-
wait until he's crying about it.
I saw 20. I saw 24 like a while ago, and I was like, let me finish my thought. Then I wanted 2 other completely different thoughts.
Yo!
Yo!
I choked on my spit.
He's evolving!
It's Crocodile! My booty got bigger. Okay.
Jeez, man.
Good episode. Alright. Bye everybody. Wave bye to everybody, booty. I hate the week. Nice dialogue, bro. Anyway. Bye!